why this is not going on YouTube. It's on Facebook, but not YouTube. Let's see. Am I on the wrong channel here? Yeah, it doesn't go on the small channel anymore. I wonder why. So anyway, we're here in the big chat in the big channel here. I'm not sure why this isn't streaming to the smaller channel. I'll have to go take a look and see what that is. But so I want to talk about something that happened over the week. You guys might have read. We were interviewed on Ton Starge yesterday. Dale Walker and I were down at the school board meeting, the public school board meeting today, to discuss what you see, the contents of this flyer we see right here. This was actually handed out to my 7-year-old son. Well, you guys know what it is. It was handed out to Luke. And, you know, before I really get started in this, I want you to know something. This is the first time I can honestly say I feel like we can't take the culture back. I've never felt that we couldn't, bring it back. We couldn't do something, whatever. But after seeing, and I'm going to read you some of the comments from some of the parents in this article from one of the news stations here. And I've never felt like we can't take the culture back. And for the first time, I actually feel like we can't stop this. Now, I'm not saying we should give up. I'm not saying we shouldn't go out there and preach. I'm not saying that there's still souls that need to be saved. But I've never felt like we couldn't at least win, but, honestly, it feels like that, like I said, it feels like that we can't win. And I'm going to show you why. So, Friday, my son Luke came home with this flyer. And I'm going to show you this flyer here. You can see it over here. You can see it here. This image here, but I'll show you a little better one here. So, this is the flyer here. I want you to see this clearly, okay? I want you to see what this says. Free birth control and pre-pregnancy services, in addition to free dental, all this stuff here. Free birth control, including implants, IUDs, pills, condoms, and more. What exactly is more? I'm curious. Free native vitamins, replanting, right? This is the other side of the flyer. Now, this part I don't have a problem with, right? Remote area clinic. I don't have a problem with this. Free dental, free vision, free medical. This clinic wants to offer the service for free. That's fine. This is the part I have a problem with, and I want people to understand that. This is the problem that, this was given to a 7-year-old in 2nd grade, this flyer. The problem, of course, is that the principal, this was 2 separate pieces of paper that came in, and this one had actually a big red thing on top there. Okay, that's important. And I'm going to show you guys this in a second. I'm going to show you guys the original flyer. Hopefully the news station has a picture of it. Where is it? Continue reading. Okay, so this is the original flyer with color. See that red bold in the bottom there? There's no way you're going to miss that. So the principal took that, okay, and there's the other side. They're 2 pieces of paper. The principal actually took that, put them together to make a front and back copy. And the reason I make that distinction is because the principal, at first, when people were calling the school yesterday, actually said, "Oh, it was an oversight. I didn't read the whole thing. I made it. I didn't realize what it was." Really? You missed that? You missed that? You didn't see that? That whole page is an oversight to you? This whole thing? You didn't see any of this? Right? You didn't see that at all. So it was a lie. And then, of course, the school director goes and talks to the school board. But besides that, I want to read you this article the news wrote. And this is the response of the school director. Think about this. A flyer that had information about free birth control and pre-pregnancy services was distributed to Mary Hughes K-8 school sometime last week. Now, the news, of course, didn't say that this was a 2nd grader. They said K-8, right? Assuming that there's preteens or anything else. They didn't say this was given to a 7-year-old. The flyer in question, pictured below, was actually the back of a flyer that was an advertisement for a remote area medical clinic coming to the region. According to Cox, who's the school coordinator, the flyer was only physically distributed to students at Mary Hughes K-8 school sometime last week. The flyer discusses options for free birth control, condoms, and pre-pregnancy planning. News Channel 11's Kaylin Cluck spoke to Cox just hours before a group called Tennessee Pastors Network was set to hold a press conference regarding the distribution of this flyer. Cox told Kaylin that he has not directly heard from the Tennessee Pastors Network about the scheduled event. Cox said in part, there was no bad intention or political agenda at work here. Well, why would he have to say that if there wasn't any? Do you see what I'm saying? It simply was an intent to share information about free health services. And ordinarily, if it was just this part here, I would agree. I would agree if it was just that part. But it's not. It was this part too. The problem is that they didn't think a parent would say something about it, and they got caught. He added the ETSU Health Services emailed the school's nurse coordinator with flyer materials relating to the RAM clinic. The school then copied both sides of the flyer and distributed it to students. My 9-year-old didn't come home with this. So looks like there's still some teachers that have some sense in their heads to not give this to children. On the school's part, this was an inadvertent distribution of the material. He did say that the flyer could change, not will, but could change the future of their materials distribution policy. So I ask you, brothers and sisters, everybody watching this video, how is this inadvertent? How is this just simply giving information to how is this relevant to a 7-year-old? I can understand giving this to give to us. I understand that completely. Nothing wrong with this. To 7-year-olds. Now you see, what's interesting about this too is when the school wants to send me something as my kid's father, they always send it in an envelope so the kids can't read it. Or they'll send it, what do you call it? Or they'll send it in a, they'll mail it to us. My daughter's lunch account went negative 52 cents. We didn't catch that. So they mailed the letter home. They made sure we got that letter that said my daughter's lunch account was negative 52 cents. Why couldn't they mail this? No, this was a deliberate attempt. They wanted my son to see this. They wanted him to see this, to spark a conversation. Now, I gave a speech tonight. And if you watch it, you can go back on the page and watch it. The school board cut me off. They wouldn't let me finish. So I want to read to you my speech that I stood up and I told the school board tonight. I said this. I said, I went through the whole thing here, and I said, on Friday, November 1st, my 7-year-old son came home with a flyer which advertised birth control methods, specifically condoms, IUDs, pills, and more. One has to wonder, what exactly is more? Since when is it the school's job to give information to my child about birth control? When did the public schools decide they can teach my child issues of morality and sex? I hate that cat. When did the schools decide they could teach my child issues of morality and sex? Now, I know the liberals on this council, and I addressed the 3 or 4 liberals that are on that council. I said, I know the liberals on this council will probably say something like, schools teach reproduction. Amanda, can you come up and get this stupid cat? You're right. They teach reproduction as biological fact in regards to reproduction. But this flyer is not talking about reproduction as a biological fact. It teaches birth control. But here's the thing, you guys. I want you to notice. On this flyer here, take a good look. Nothing about abstinence. Absolutely nothing. This is basically telling kids to fornicate. You're going to fornicate, so do this. Not stop, not control yourselves. No. The school thinks that they have a right to dictate what they want to the kids. As a Christian, and remember, this is my speech that I was giving to what?
Tell her you're sorry.
For what?
Called her names.
She's stupid. You want me to show her? Okay. She wants you to see this cat.
She's cute. She's obnoxious, but she's cute.
Liberals in Tennessee? Absolutely. You don't even know. So I said, I've heard it said that the principal was just trying to be nice and give out some information about a free clinic. The problem, of course, is the fact that he gave out information about birth control in addition to the free clinic. My son received this flyer printed on front and back. Why didn't the principal just photocopy the one side, right? Why didn't he just photocopy this one side? Why copy both sides? Surely he should have known better than to give something like this to his 7-year-old. What's also interesting is my 9-year-old attends the same school and she did not receive this flyer. As a Christian and as a father, I teach my children to respect themselves and their bodies and to abstain from sexual activity until marriage, since God is the creator of marriage and ordained marriage as a sacred union between one man and one woman. The Bible also calls fornication a sin, which is what we teach our children. The public schools, and more specifically this school, think that they have the right to usurp my authority. By giving my 7-year-old son this flyer, the school almost forced me to have a conversation with my 7-year-old about sex and birth control, and the school does not have that right. It is my job as his father to teach these issues when I feel it is appropriate to do so. The sexualizing of our youth is a sign of the moral and societal decay of our culture. Our children are not objects to be used for liberals to push an agenda. The family in America is under attack, and the public schools are at the forefront of that attack. And this must be stopped, and we must stand up to the recruitment and the indoctrination of our children. The Bible tells us in Matthew chapter 18, verse 6, that whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to stumble, it would be better for him to have a heavy millstone hung around his neck and to be drowned in the depth of the sea. It is not the school's job to teach moral lessons, and it is not the school's job to teach our children religion, and that's exactly what we see happening. I stood up at this podium a few months ago in regards to textbooks that teach that Allah and God are the same being, and then they cut me off. They literally said, okay, Richard, you're done. But I'm going to share with you the rest of what I wanted to say that the board didn't let me finish. I said of the same being, and there were a few members of this board who ignored those of us who are qualified to actually teach religion. For example, the school here wants to teach teaches students that, Christians and Muslims worship the same God. And that is simply not true, and I'm going to prove that one sentence. La ilaha illa Allah, which let me say that again. La ilaha illa Allah, which in English means there is no God but Allah. So you see, the sentence uses the word ilaha for God, and Allah is his name. So Allah is not God. It is the name of the Muslim God. This sentence alone proves that public schools are not qualified to teach religion because they don't know it, and they shouldn't be teaching it. The same way they should not be teaching social issues and issues of morality. I send my children to school to learn writing, reading, and arithmetic, not sex and sexuality. The fact that there are some folks who will quickly dismiss this is disturbing because there is no way anyone can justify handing out flyers about condoms to a 7-year-old. It's a slippery slope, and I will not sit idly by while the public schools decide they can teach my children their ideology. What's next? Giving lessons on how to actually have sex? Maybe teach our children to put condoms on? It's already happening in states like California because people have ignored the subtle way the schools have slowly introduced these things until it's full blown out like that. Parents have to start taking an interest in their children because these schools with their liberal agenda are taking advantage of parental apathy. Parents are treating the schools like babysitters instead of educators. Parents don't bother to check the materials their children are coming home with. Parents don't look at their curriculums. Parents won't engage with the teachers anymore. So you see, it's not entirely the school's fault. A lot of this rests on the shoulder of the parents. Children are a blessing from God, not objects to be sexualized. In the name of tolerance and acceptance, we have lowered our guard, and our children are the ones ultimately paying the price. This board has a responsibility to keep the schools in check and to not make excuses for a principal who's taken it upon himself to give my 7-year-old son a flyer promoting condoms. It's not just information. His excuse of not reading the flyer thoroughly doesn't hold water. You cannot miss this. You can't miss this. It's a whole page. He's trying to cover his backside because he got caught. I make this promise to the school board. I will not just go away, and I will not forget this. You can ignore other parents. You can try and wait for the fanfare and the media hype to die down. But you cannot and you will not ignore me. I am just as tenacious as those who are trying to indoctrinate my child, and I will continue to beat the drum to protect other children, something this board should be doing. It does not take a village to raise a child, contrary to what some liberal members think. It takes a mother and a father. How long will it take for parents to realize the worst thing they can do for their kids is to leave them unguarded, unprotected, in the government indoctrination center to be brainwashed? Now, they didn't let me finish that. They cut me off right when I started talking about the Allah stuff. Now, we stood up there. Dale gave an awesome speech as well, you guys. Dale went up there and he stood in front of the pastor. The news, they got, we actually caught the news. We had Jamie Wilson. He actually recorded it for us, so to make sure the news didn't try to spin what we said, and we have proof of what have you. But what disturbs me the most is the parents. I want to read you some comments on the website here. This is the now you want to know why this is happening. Now remember, this is a 7-year-old that was given this. A 7-year-old. Nothing about abstinence. Nothing about anything. A school shouldn't be doing this anyway. This is fine. This is not. Okay? It's a parent's job. But the parents, they've given that job, they've given that control over to the schools because they don't want to be bothered with the children anymore. They don't want to bother anymore. That's the problem we have in this country. That's a problem we have with a lot of parents. They don't care. They don't be bothered. You know, a lot of people tell me, oh, Rich, why didn't you homeschool? Well, what you don't know is, when we were in West Virginia, we did try. We tried it with my oldest daughter. We did. It didn't work. I'm not a good homeschooling type parent. That's the truth. I'm not. Okay? My son came home. I was trying to help him with his homework today, and the way they do things, it's really weird. I can't see how I don't get how they do it anymore. It's not the way we used to do it. And we tried, and my daughter said, it was too hard. It was too hard, but it was too easy to cheat and stuff like that. So we came to Tennessee figuring it would be better, and apparently it's not. So I want to read you the comments here. This flyer was about the RAM clinic, and that information needed to be shared with the students and their families. Can we seriously not make such a big deal about everything? I just volunteered for the RAM clinic that was held at the Gray Fairgrounds this past weekend. It was the most amazing, rewarding experience. To see those in need to get everything from dental to vision to mental help and everything in between was such a blessing. We had a young lady, 20s, who had no idea about reproductive health. Come on, really? 20-year-old doesn't know about, come on. After her visit, she came back to the check-in desk to thank everyone, and we talked a minute. Had she not been given the opportunity to have birth control, she would have ended up with a child she couldn't care for at this time. Really? Really? Come on. Really? She's 20 years old? Come on. Really? Thank you for volunteering. I donate to RAM and love what they do. I'm not going to repeat the names here. Was my first one. I've now signed up for 3 more with the possibility of 7 total by next September. It's totally addictive. You should volunteer. There's several now. Okay, we don't do that here. My daughter goes to that school. I had absolutely no problem making sure her parents and everyone at the school knows where to get free services or healthcare needed, including birth control. When do 2nd graders need birth control? And besides that, who are you to say that my child needs this information? I don't tell your child. I don't go to your house and start beating on your door and preaching to your children, do I? I don't go to your home. I don't go to schools trying. I don't do that. I wouldn't be allowed to anyway. The school wouldn't let me. So it's the schools and it's the parents that think that my child needs this stuff like their kids do. Listen, if you want to raise your kids to be a bunch of heathens that grow up, sleep with everything that moves, hey, whatever. As for me and my house, we serve the Lord. As for me and my house, we're going to teach our children to wait. If you want your kid, again, parents, they just don't want to take responsibility. They want to shuck responsibility up to everybody else. That's the way it is in our culture now. No responsibility. There's no consequences for any of our actions anymore. We just want to give it to everybody. We want to delegate and relegate responsibility to everybody else. And these liberals, these schools, these satanic agenda that's going on here, they are trying to get kids. They want kids to engage in sexual activity. Do you have any idea what this does to the mind of children when they engage in sexual activity earlier? And the fact is, nothing about abstinence. Absolutely nothing. This is basically a birth control. You want birth control? Don't have sex. There you go. Easy as that. This information should be given to teens to educate them so they can make informed decisions. Love this. Educating preteens on ways of preventing pregnancy. How awful. We can't bubble wrap them or use chastity belts, so why not educate them? Please feel free to send information like this to my hometown, Mary Hughes. Sadly, parents don't get involved in their kids' lives. This information should be handled by parents. Unfortunately, some kids become parents at an early age and the grandparents become the caregiver. At any point, kids need to have some kind of information about birth control. Mistake or not, kudos to the school. As a teenage mother myself, this information is great for kids. I have a 12-year-old boy, and best believe we have already talked about this because he needs to know how to protect himself and whatever girl in the future. He knows what struggles you have went through raising him, and I pray to God he doesn't have to go through this himself. Remain calm. People are seriously offended by a flyer for the RAM clinic now. How ridiculous is this world getting? Love the word free. Really answer me this question. Who is paying for said free services? Birth control, counseling, etc. And as for teens making informed decisions, heck, this generation can't even start a weed eater, and all of a sudden they're smart enough to make lifelong decisions? Ridiculous. If allowed to be funding every decision they make. And of course that comment got an okay boomer. Your generation is dying and so are your ideas. Socialized medicine, no way, just donors and volunteers. We already fund their uninformed decisions. It's called daycare in the school system. It's called pregnancy. God forbid we have socialized healthcare, but the older generations would be absolutely livid if we get rid of Medicare and Social Security. Pay for their rubbers or support their kids, which is more affordable. Math is our friend. It's all about education and birth control. I am pro-life, so if we wanted people to use birth control instead of the hope for the best method, perhaps these flyers are a good thing. And it's reading these comments that have really, really made me question whether we can take it back, because parents aren't caring that little children are being taught by public schools about birth control. They say that, abstinence doesn't work. Of course it does. It worked for most of the time that this country has been around. Abstinence teaching worked. It wasn't until the feminist movement that we started seeing the tide has changed. When kids were taught to take care of themselves, when kids were taught to respect themselves and respect their parents, it worked then. The only reason it doesn't work now is because a bunch of feminists went around talking about we want to sleep with who we want, when we want, how we want. And that's infected every area of our life. So don't give me this nonsense that it doesn't work. Of course it does. Because you know what? My children are going to wait. I'm willing to bet that my children will wait until they get married. Because I teach them that. Because I teach them respect for themselves, respect for their bodies, respect for God, to understand the sacredness of sexual activity, that it is meant for a marital union between one man and one woman only. I teach my children that. Not to give in to peer pressure from these kids. These kids don't even know what they're doing. These kids don't even know what gender they are. They're eating Tide Pods for crying out loud. And we want to tell them about birth control. Man, what are you going to eat those too? They're snorting the condoms. And yet this is where we are today. This is where we are today as a culture, as a society. And you guys know, you've been watching me for a long time now. I've been saying all the time, we can still win. We're the salt and light. We can do it. We can do it. But I just don't see Christians doing it. I don't see it. We don't. And like I said, I've never felt that sense that we can't reverse this course until tonight. When I read those, even then, as I stood in front of that school board, I was praying that the Holy Spirit convicts some of them and pricks their hearts and their conscience, and maybe they repent. I was still hopeful about that. But after reading these comments and seeing these parents advocating and making excuses for the children to engage in sexual activity at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares. Parents, what are you thinking? You just use a condom. Just use a condom. This is absolute lunacy. And to be honest, the reason it won't reverse course, it's not because of we can't do it, it's because we won't do it. Because we won't do it. The laziness and the apathy of Christians is absolutely vile and disgusting. It's disgusting. We just don't want to do anything. We literally don't care about anything other than ourselves. That's it. We don't care. We only care about what interests us the most, what affects us directly. Well, you know what? My son didn't come with this, so I don't care. I don't need to talk about it. It's because you don't care. It's because you don't do anything about it, and it's going to come to you, and then you're going to care, but by then it's going to be too late. The hope and pray doesn't work. Prayer without action, faith without works is dead. Pray, yes. But get your butts out there and do something. Anything. It doesn't matter what. Even just coming to a public school board meeting when something like this happens. When you see this, because you know what? They're doing this as test runs. They're doing this to see how much they can get away with. Like I said, we live in a day and age now where this is being put out there. The same time when drag queen story hours are going out there, they're going into schools now as well. We're going to start applauding that. Most parents probably would. And I'll be honest, I want to homeschool my kids. I do. I shouldn't have to, but and I don't know what to do with it. I'll be honest, I don't know what to do with it. I have 6 children home, four of whom are in school. And, it is no, yeah, you're right, it is pretty disappointing. It's disgusting. But, I do videos all the time like this. They're out there. We get thousands of views. And yet I don't see Christians doing anything. Our Facebook pages, we get shared a lot. Even when they deplatform us, we still able to come back and build all these things. And I don't see, And we're putting this out there. We're trying to get people involved, and 1 or 2 people, that's great, praise God. But where is everybody else? I mean, where are the parents? Where are they? Why isn't nobody speaking up on this? Why? Morgantown, West Virginia, drag queen story of the public library there, right? Public school, Eastern. Now, by the way, this is Eastern Tennessee. This is considered like the most conservative part of Tennessee. And this is happening. And if it can happen here, did you not hear what Todd Starnes said? This school is located in Piney Flats, Tennessee. It's a nothing town. There's like nobody that lives there. And he said, I guarantee everybody that does live there goes to church because it's a little rinky-dink town. If it can happen in a town like that, it can happen anywhere. Make no mistake about it. And I guarantee you, some of you guys, probably if your kids are in public school, probably have this stuff like this coming home, and you don't even know because you're probably not checking. Now, again, I'm making generalizations, nothing specific to anybody specifically. But I just don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what to do. We go, we speak up. I mean, Dale drove 4 hours to come down here today for this, to stand here with me, to speak in front of the school board, as the Tennessee Pastors Network president. I mean, 4 hours this man drove down here. We put it all over the place. All the people that were out there for, in February, whatever it was, when they did when they were trying to introduce that Muslim book, there was lots of people there. When it came to the sexualizing our children, not so much. Why? Why not? Are we going to pretend like it's okay? And then people, Greg Locke need to hear about this. Why do people say that? Why do people say Greg Locke? Greg Locke's not going to do anything. I don't understand how people like Greg Locke, who literally do nothing but run their mouths and just talk from the pulpit. Oh, Greg Locke needs to hear this. No, he does. He needs to do something. And that's what I'm saying. We have these sham pastors out there that literally do nothing. There are more people that are not Christian. There are more Catholics out there when they're not Christian. There are more Catholics out there that do more work than Greg Locke does. When the man has an abortion clinic that opened up his backyard and literally does nothing about it, like nothing. He made a video one time before it opened to the public when it stood a paper sign there late at night when no one was around. He does nothing. He went to the Planned Parenthood thing, which is another ridiculous thing, sitting praise and worship songs at a Planned Parenthood building when there's no patients even going in there. It's lunacy. Greg Locke. That's what somebody just said. Greg Locke needs to hear about this. Greg Locke needs to hear about this. He ain't going to do nothing. He will literally do and say nothing because that would involve him actually doing something. But I digress. But you see, that's the problem. Oh, Greg Locke. Well, why don't you do something about it? Why do we got to say, well, you do it, you do it, you do it, you do it, you do it. How about we do it? The Bible didn't tell, Jesus didn't tell us to go tell everybody else to go preach it. He told us to do it. Individually, collectively. Not just one of us. He didn't say, hey, you, go tell your pastor to go do this. Go tell this preacher to go do this. No, he told you to do it. He told you to get out there. And it's really, really disheartening for me as a Christian to see people that call themselves Christians that don't even care that their little children are being taught to fornicate. And yes, that's what they're doing here. They're not teaching abstinence, they're teaching fornication. They're teaching as their children it's okay to fornicate. And they're just apathetic about it. Is it really that hard to raise your children? Is it really that hard to be involved? It's really not. It's really not. The schools are doing it. At the very least, they shouldn't be promoting sex at all. Besides that, it's not the school's job to promote safe sex. It's not their job at all. It's the parents' job. The school should not be teaching anything about when to have sex, when not to have sex. It's not their job. But you see, that's what I'm talking about. That's that apathy. That's that laziness. And, they just do it. We took away electronics devices completely from a few of my children. Completely. And you know what? I got to tell you, I'll be honest with you, they're a lot better. They are a lot better without them. They don't have cell phones, nothing. They're a lot better without them. A lot. My daughter, Lily, she has her little iPad, but she doesn't play it all the time. She'll do it for when she first gets up in the morning. She watches it where she has her breakfast. Then she goes and plays with her dolls. She goes and plays in her room with her dolls. She goes and plays with her little toys and stuff like that. And she'll come up and she'll play with me, and and she'll try to, she like today she was trying to show me a trick. She said to me, she goes, "Daddy, watch, I can show you a magic trick." And I know, but that's what she said. She put a little like poof ball thing in her hand. She goes, "Daddy, look, I gotta make it disappear." She goes, "I put it in my hand," and she was like going through the steps, and she goes, "I put it in my hand, I close it, and it disappeared." And I said, "Wow." She goes, "You want me to show you how I did that?" I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "I put it in my hand like this," and I said, "Like this so fast you couldn't see it." My daughters, me, and not to brag on my, whatever, but my daughters, Lily and Noelle specifically, they like to play horsey. And what that does is I'll go down the hall and I'll hide from them in, like, behind the bathroom door or one of the other bedrooms, whatever. And they'll come looking for me and they'll say, make a sound. And I'll, make a sound or what have you. And they'll come and try to find me, and then they'll grab me and say, "Come on, horsey, come sit down." And they'll pretend to like feed me fake food and stuff like that, but we play with our children. Lukey, he with Lukey, he likes to play, and he'll come up and he'll try to do whatever. He likes playing outside. He loves going on the swings. He loves running around the yard. He's got one of those little power wheel thingies, and he loves to go drive around in that, around the cul-de-sac and all that stuff. He loves it, So my kids prefer to be outside, except the teenagers. They're they're not as interested. But you see, when you take an interest in your children, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. But it's these public schools. And again, the parents, I don't know what to do anymore. I even told my wife, I said, I've never felt like, I don't think we can reverse course. I've never felt like this before. I don't like it. I don't feel like there's nothing we can do to stop it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to stop talking about it because somebody has to. But I don't even know. I don't know if it can be reversed. I mean, sure, can we pull some people out? Yes, but can we really? I don't know anymore. I don't know. Because of the apathy of the church, I honestly don't know. There's so many Christians that they don't want to do anything. They don't want to do anything. And one thing about this, Dale made this really thing. He goes, talking about abortion is really good for church business. It's really, really, really good for church business. But doing something about it, not so much. And that's the truth. Joel Osteen, Stephen Furtick, Greg Locke, these guys that do nothing, they are well funded. They are well-funded ministries. But you look at brothers like John McGlone. You look at the guys down in Mississippi. You take a look at myself. You take a look at guys like Dale Walker. There's no money in any of this. Nobody wants to give to a minister that tells them what they want to hear instead of what they need to hear. That's the truth. With the work that we've done in the ministry here, shutting down 9 drag queen story hours, actually having the laws changed in Spartanburg, South Carolina because he went there. Like literally, they changed the ordinance there because of what went down there. And we called them out to their face. The cop, the city attorney, we called them out. They literally changed the ordinance. 2 libraries removed their LGBT displays that were targeted for children. You would think with a ministry like that, people would be having us travel all over the place to go do it there. But they don't. You would think that, right? But instead, I'll tell you the truth, you guys. I'll be honest with you. Can I be honest with you for a second about this? Before I started street preaching, before I went out there, I actually had more people donating to Words for Christ than after I started actually doing stuff besides sitting here making videos. Did you know that? I can actually prove it to you too. Just for instance. Okay, and again, this whole video is not about that, but I want to show you something here. And again, let me take a screenshot of this. So I'm going to show you our one account here, and this is the month to date here. Okay, I want to show you the difference between this month and last month as we get more and more into this. You see that there? Look at that. You see the difference? $26. That's it. So people think, you do this for you get. No, we're not. Compared to last month. I mean, that's the way it is, though. I mean, that's literally the way it is. People, they'd rather pay for a good, tickle ear sermon that says, you know what, it's okay. God gonna make it. God, but mama gonna make it right. God got your back no matter what you do. You were fornicating. Pfft, it's okay. It's not really a sin. It's just a whoopsie daisy. I mean, after all, God doesn't really expect you not to sin. Well, who doesn't want to hear that message? I can be a Christian, have all the benefits of salvation, but none of the responsibility that comes along with it? Shoot, sign me up. Who wouldn't want to hear that message? Of course, everybody wants to hear that message. Everybody wants to hear that message. Hey. Look at Dale Walker. Dale Walker, president of the Tennessee Pastors Network, the most active charter of the American Pastors Network. They have chapters in every state. Dale's the president of Tennessee. He is the most active out of all of them. And I'm not going to reveal that because it's not my place to say, but his Tennessee Pastor Network account doesn't have that much. Matter of fact, he lost some funding. He actually lost some funding because of the work that he does. Not going to stop him, of course, but he still does. But that's the way it is today. Instead, we want people to tell us, oh, you're 7-year-old. Here you go. Tell your 6-year-old that use a condom. Use a condom. After all, if I tell you to wait, you're probably not going to do it. So rather than actually tell you to and why you should, just use a condom. I mean, I just don't know what to do anymore. We pray, we preach, pray and preach. We talk. We do these videos. And it just seems like, it's like one step forward, 4 steps back. That's literally the way it seems. Because nobody wants to get involved with anything. I mean, that one comment, and I'm not going to lie, it bothers me to hear somebody, some Greg Glock said I hear at this. Tell me something. Be honest with yourselves. Take a look at the big names out there on social media. The million, whatever. What have they actually done? What do they do for the body of Christ? What do they actually do? Do you ever see them outside their pulpits? Besides Greg Glock, which goes in and sing a happy, happy, joy, joy song in front of a Planned Parenthood building with no patients actually there. Doesn't require any actual work. But besides that, should we really be having church services in front of a bunch of reprobate sinners who are out there dedicated to murdering children? No! Absolutely not. But that's the way it is. Do you see? I mean, look at what's it called? Houston, Texas. Joel Osteen, during that hurricane, didn't open his church. There were people that were making videos that were literally walking to his church to show that it wasn't flooded. Literally just walking there to show it wasn't flooded. And this guy said he couldn't open it because it was flooded. Then he finally, after all the pressure from all the people across this country, they finally opened up the church. After all, and the guy receives a medal for it. But he doesn't actually, they don't do anything. Stephen Furtick, what has this guy done? Think about it. What has this guy done for the body of Christ? What has Stephen Furtick ever done? Besides show you what a man looks like wearing skinny jeans. Disgusting, by the way. What has he ever done? The man who says that Jesus broke the law for love? Does that even sound biblical to you? Actually, to the uneducated, yeah, it probably does sound biblical. But that's not the truth at all. Jesus did not break the law. He fulfilled the law. There's a difference. But that's where we are today. Christians don't want to hear. They don't care. They want to hear sin. Sin is not the what it was back in the day when you had the guys like what? You had what's his name out there? You had the Raven Hills and the Billy Sundays and the David Wilkinsons and these guys out there, right? You don't hear about, where these guys, those days are past. Now we have the guys out there wearing skinny jeans and telling you that sin is not damnable, sin is not this, sin is not that. Instead, sin is just whoopsie daisies. I mean, come on. Joel Osteen's theology tells you. And now, look, this isn't a direct quote. I'm obviously just kind of making fun here a little bit. But, Noah's Ark, the point of Noah's Ark is God wants you to have a yacht. That's the kind of preaching that Joel Osteen does. And people go, wait, God wants me to have a yacht? Really? God wants me to be wealthy and all these things here? Really? Whoa. God wants me to be rich? Yes, he wants me rich. And if you give me $100 right now, God will give you $1,000. Shoot, sign me up. That's a heck of a windfall right there. $100 to get $1,000? Sure, I'll do it. Pastor, I didn't give him $1,000. Well, you must not have prayed enough. You know what? Give me that $100 and let's see what happens. Maybe you just didn't have enough faith. Maybe you doubted. That's what it is. You doubted. Let me sell you some more medication. But again, that's where we are today as a culture, as a society. And it's really, really heartbreaking because I saw those comments from these parents and hearing them just, advocating for sexualizing their children. They don't understand. They don't get it. They really, truly don't understand what's at stake here. They don't understand. I don't understand how anybody can think it's okay to talk to a 7-year-old and a 6-year-old about sex and sexuality. I don't understand how people can think there's nothing wrong. I don't get it at all. How is that even remotely? How do we deal with this? What is it going to take to get the church to wake up? What is it going to take to get people to say, you know what, I've had enough of this? What is it going to take for parents to say, you know what, I don't want my kids to be sexualized. Instead of saying, here's a condom, Junior, go have fun. What is it going to take, guys? What do we have to do? I literally talk to Christians all day about this. Like, literally. All day, every day about this. And it's the one thing that's, what do we have to do? What do we have to do? And I see Christians, literally on our page alone, I've seen people arguing, Christians, mind you, arguing over whether angels have wings. Like literally making arguments over these things. I see people arguing over whether there's a mid or pre or post-trib rapture. Actually arguing about these things. I see people arguing over Bible translation. Look, I'm just as guilty sometimes. I do. I've made a video against, KJV onlyism. And to be honest, because I don't care if somebody reads the KJV. I'm just happy somebody's reading the Bible. I don't, So I'm not innocent in all of that either. I myself have done it when in reality there's bigger things to worry about. So I'm just as guilty for that. But I'm not anymore. Because there's bigger things to deal with. You read KJV, fine, perfect, God bless you. I will say though, if you read NIV, let's be careful with that one because it's anyway. But this isn't about. So I'm not immune to this stuff either. Look, I'm not gonna lie either. Being the social media stuff, there's a lot of drama on social media. There is. And I'm not going to say I have never been sucked into it. I have. There's period of times we get sucked in and then all of a sudden you go, wait a second, why am I even bothered? This is stupid. But I've done it. I've been guilty of it. I'm sure we all have. But after today, after seeing these parents and seeing this stuff, no, not doing it anymore. It's just, I can't do it anymore. I can't. I'm not going to get into these stupid arguments on social media anymore. I'm not. And that's the thing. Social media is designed specifically for that purpose. Because I don't know if you know where this is, but Facebook's algorithm, by the way, Facebook's algorithm is actually designed in such a way that what's going to be put in front of you is stuff that gets the most comments, the stuff that gets the most drama, if you will. That's what Facebook puts out there. And negative always gets more than positive. So what do we see more of than anything else? Facebook is actually the reason, and it's been scientifically proven, people are suffering from depression as a result of using Facebook too much. Because in Facebook world, things are all hunky-dory, peachy keen, rainbow and sunshine, but that's not reality. And when people's reality doesn't match up with what they're seeing on their computer screens, they get depressed. They get dysphoric, if you will. Because men, like me, let's be honest, we're here in this camera here. And I've tried to show you guys who I really am, as a person. I've showed you my family. I've showed you who, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The things that have been said about me. I've tried, and you guys have kept me, when I kind of got off a little bit too there with some of the drama stuff, you guys have put me back in, and I appreciate that, and that's what we should be doing. But you look at, again, you look at guys like Greg Locke. They call him America's pastor. Everybody loves Greg Locke. But the guy doesn't do anything. So what is it, we only see what they want us to see. You don't see this stuff, and I'm not going to go out there and talk about what I do know about Greg Locke. As many of you know, I'm friends with his ex-wife. I'm friends with, we're whatever, but I'm not going to share all that stuff there because some of the stuff doesn't need to be put out there publicly. But all I can tell you is, you don't know who these people are when the cameras are off. You don't know. You don't know. And by the way, like I said, I'm not going to give you hearsay information unless Melissa wants to come and tell whatever she wants to say herself. That's her business. Okay? But that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about there. There are so many people out there, we don't know who they are. Josh Feuerstein's another guy. Look at this guy. Posts a scripture from the Book of Mormon. Doesn't even know it's not the Bible. Yet this guy has millions of people that follow him. Doesn't even know that what he posts isn't the Bible. Doesn't even know it. And there's some other ones too, but I'm not going to get into that right now because I did, but there's some people out there, big names, that they are not who you think they are either. They're not. People that are literally doing this for a fee. Speaking fees and whatnot. And I'm going to leave that at that. So what do we got to do? Little town in Tennessee, handing out flyers to second graders, 6, 7, 8-year-olds about condoms. What are we going to do about this? What are you going to do about it? And I'm not saying specifically here, but I'm going to tell you what. If you guys want to call the school, and remember, you are a Christian. If you do call the school and ask for the principal, but you want to see about this, maintain your Christian discipline, if you will. That's the school's number to Mary Hughes. Mary Hughes Elementary School, 423-354-1835. Don't call up all half-cocked. Remember who you are. You are a Christian. It's okay to voice your displeasure, but do it in a godly manner. Don't call up, don't call up, you stupid, don't do that. If you're going to call, it is a school, there are students there. Just let them know, hey, this is wrong. Better yet, you know what? And I'll get the number for you. Call the school board. Let them know what you think. Because there's a couple people on that board that have no problem. One of them actually walked up in the hallway today. Came up, shook my hand. And I'm glad he did, by the way, because the other one didn't. And he said to me, he goes, Rich, you shouldn't be calling people liar. And I didn't say liar. I said, I'll say dishonest to be nice. And he's like, that's your opinion. I'm like, it's not my opinion. He's like, well, you don't know the other side. I'm like, neither do you. You're hearing from them and believing them because it fits your agenda. It's called confirmation bias. I said, I have the flyer right in front of me. The principal said it was an oversight. This is not an oversight. You cannot miss the message of this. It's right there in bold letters. This is actually red down here. This not right here. You cannot miss this. There is no way that this is an matter of fact, look, free birth control and pre-pregnancy services is bigger than the other stuff. So if your eyes are going to catch something on this flyer, it's going to be the top part first. This is not an oversight. What a lie that is. And of course, it's like, well, I'm an ordained minister. I'm like, so what? What does that mean? It's just like, well, so what? Oversight my foot. And yet, here we are, talking about stuff like this again. And of course, the liberals, they went crazy on this, talking about, first they tried saying we made the whole story up, that it didn't actually happen. They tried saying that, because, One News Now did an article when we were in West Virginia about pulling our... Unless you're... Wow. Anyway, I just don't know. I mean, we better wake up and do something, guys. We better do something. Oh, that's a good idea. Preachers at the school. It's not a bad idea. Call the police on that first to make sure it's okay. Although, actually, I should call the sheriff. I have a pretty good relationship with them. I actually talked to one of the sheriffs yesterday, deputy yesterday. I got to say, it's funny, you guys, because, down in Bristol, that abortion clinic there, those people, they're pro-aborts are really violent, right? And, they kick and they hit and they whatever. And then they cry the victim afterwards. And, we call the Bristol police and they don't do nothing. So, we were down at the sheriff's department, anyway, couple days, whatever, on an unrelated matter, but we were talking about that. And he told me, he says, if the city police won't do nothing, then call them. And they'll do something about it. If these people are hitting us and kicking us and they won't do something about it, well, then they will. So call them next. I said, really? We can do that? He said, absolutely. The county police have they have carte blanche around the entire county. The city police have their jurisdiction there, but the county does too. But out of respect for one another, they usually don't. But if they're not going to do it, I'm like, oh, wow. I did not know that. Now I do. So we did get that tidbit of information from the police there. So I'll call them first to see what see what they say about that and make sure that's okay. I'm also thinking about going to the Board of Education because if you watch the video tonight, we were there speaking. They literally cut me off and said, "Rich, that's it. Your time's up." Now, granted, they did say 3 minutes. I needed about another minute to finish my thing. They could have let me have the other minute. They could have. They spent 25 minutes prior to, congratulating the kids' volleyball team, which is great, by the way. Congratulations to those kids. It was awesome to see, and their faces all happy from the sport. That was great. But, I mean, that's what it is. That's what it is everywhere. So, wake up. If this happens in a small town like Tennessee, if these schools can sexualize our children, and yes, that's what they are. Anybody who says this is not the sexualization of children doesn't know what you're talking about. It is not a school's job to teach this kind of stuff. I don't care what you say. I don't care. This is not the school's job. If you're too lazy of a parent to teach your kids about this stuff, then you don't deserve to have children, and you shouldn't have children. If you can't control yourself to say, well, you know what? I can't control myself to keep my legs closed. This is both for men and women. Well, then that's your problem. If you don't want to have a baby, don't have sex. Okay? Don't. If you don't want to take care of your children, don't have sex. It is not the school's job. It is yours. Children are a blessing from God. And some of us just use them as pawns. We use them as party tricks. We use them as nothing more than props for our agenda. We use them as props to show, hey, look at me. I'm a good mom. I'm a good daddy. Listen, I know lots of people out there that are on the surface. Oh, look at me. I'm the doting mother. I'm the doting grandma. I'm the doting grandpa, whatever. They're not, though. They don't care. They only use these things to try to build up their own image. They're narcissists. But as parents, it's our job. It's our responsibility, not the schools. Stop delegating parental responsibilities to schools and start taking care of things for yourself. Okay? Start taking responsibility. Stop listening to the media. Stop listening to these liberals. Stop listening to God haters and Satan out there who are telling you it's okay. There's no consequences. God made sex. God made sex for everybody. Yes, in the confines of a one-man, one-woman marriage, period. End of story. That's it. Any sexual... I mean, you have school literally encouraging children to fornicate. 7 years old, my son got this. Yes, everybody, write to Governor Billy. I have actually requested a meeting with the governor. On the news tonight, he's been asked 3-4 times. He's been addressed in the news and the media about this. Dale and I want to have a meeting with the governor to discuss this specific issue and how this is. And this is not an isolated incident, guys. There's more of this that goes on across the state. But like I said, parents just, they don't care. My kid's getting A's and B's. Good enough for me. Children are our responsibility. Not the schools, not your parents, not your grandparents. It's your job. It's your responsibility. That's right. Somebody says here, it's very easy to say just homeschool your kids. You're right. It is easy to say. But not all of us have the luxury to be able to do that. And I shouldn't have to do that. If we actually had parents standing up against this, there'd be no reason to do that. Not everybody has the luxury of homeschooling their children. Not everybody can do it. And I'm not going to say why, because I can't put certain things out there because of all the people that hate us. I don't need them attacking other things, but not everybody can do that. okay? And believe me, the people that are all big at homeschooling, you know, some of the big names out there, they themselves don't do it either. Don't believe everything you hear on the internet, okay? Believe me, I wish, and something happens and I could do it. You know? Oh, so thanks to the draft. Thanks to the video, you're addressing public information. Good luck. Is that a threat there? Let me just take care of that real quick. Yes, and by the way, that kind of stuff we need to take seriously because, you know, when the other person posted your license plate, Rich freaked out. Oh, that's probably the same person that did that because it's a fake profile, of course. So, and I actually didn't freak out at all. It just, you know, it is what it is. But like I said, you know, they want to do what they're gonna do. But that's the kind of stuff they were talking about, you know. And you know, like I said, I can't speak on some things. There are plate numbers are not public record. That's correct. They're not. But it doesn't matter. You know, saying my address on there, good luck. Point that out, by the way. Yeah. People are coming with wishes. That's right, they are. We'll take care of that real quick, though. Anyway, so thank you guys for watching tonight. Hopefully you guys went back. Hopefully you guys saw our speech. And you saw the point where they literally cut me off, said, Rich, you're done. And it was right when I started about the Islam stuff. And again, I was using that to tie it into, because I was up there last time in February talking, to tie it in how the schools really are teaching things they're not qualified to teach. That was my point of all that. And it was one little blurb of the whole thing. But anyway, so thank you guys again for coming on tonight. I appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Because there's an Arctic blast that came through, we're actually moving our preach up to, let me just double check when they were planning on it. Was it the November 15th? We'll be up there. November 15th is when we're going to be up in Illinois, Fairview Heights, Illinois, preaching at that mega Planned Parenthood where it's built to kill 11,000 infants a day. 11,000 babies a day can be slaughtered at that facility in Illinois. So I know one person already has requested time off of work to join us up there. They're driving a couple hours to come up there. We're driving 5 hours to come up there. Come out with us, guys. Next Friday, come out with us. Stand with us. Pray with us, preach with us. Whatever you want to do there. Let's go out there and let's save some babies. Okay. Next Friday, Fairview Heights, Illinois. We're gonna be at that mega Planned Parenthood. Also, you guys, Morgantown, West Virginia is holding their Drag Queen Story Hour on the 16th, I believe it is. Make sure you keep calling. Make sure you keep emailing them. The same library also has an event where they're teaching children about spells and witchcraft and things like that. That was done on October 26th, I believe it was. So, it's the same thing. Make sure you keep calling. Make sure you call lawmakers. Listen, you guys, you want to get your lawmakers' attention? Don't go for the feds. Go for your state lawmakers. Those are the ones who are going to listen to you. Those are going to be the ones that read your emails. They're the ones who make the laws relevant to your area, your state. Call and email your state reps. All it takes is a good 20, 30 emails, 20, 30 phone calls, and they start panicking. That's all it takes, honestly. Call the reps in West Virginia. Call the legislature, the state legislators in West Virginia, and tell them to get involved and to stop this. Politicians are just about worthless anyway, but if they hear from you and they're afraid that they're going to lose power, they're afraid they won't get voted in, believe me, they will do something. But again, it requires you to pick up the phone. It requires you to spend 5 or 10 minutes to type out an email and send it off. Do something. But thank you guys again. I do appreciate it. If you haven't gone on christianjournal.net yet, please do so. Again, it's christianjournal.net. It's our it's kind of like the media thing there. Again, we have an app available in both Apple and Google for it. I'll show you the app here real quick. This is the app. That's the news section there. Okay, we have it all here. News, articles. There's an article tab. Then they click articles. These are ones written by us. Okay, this one was just written here about how a car abolitionist struck a vehicle by abortion clinic employee. This is Christian Journal's app. christianjournal.net is the website. Here's the app. Articles. We have teachings here, right? We have a teachings tab here. We have a media tab here. Okay, we have all, so we have created that app for you guys. We do have it, like I said, you just go on the website too, christianjournal.net. If you would be so kind and inclined to, you can also sign up to be a member there. And what that does, it helps get rid of the ads. It gives some exclusive content that we have written back there that only members can see and members get. And it does help the ministry. It does help fund the things that we do. Again, we do travel probably quite a bit, and we need more help with that stuff there. So again, it's under $5 there. It's we've tried to keep it real cheap, but it does help cover a lot of these costs. So again, christianjournal.net, sign up there. And if you can't sign up, if you don't want to do that for the $1, whatever it is, $2, $3, whatever it is, you know what? Share the articles. Download the app and at least share the articles on your social media, because that does help. Also over here, you'll see the link for subscribe and get notified. Subscribe and get notified to our YouTube channels. Now, YouTube, for some reason, the smaller channel is not streaming our videos. I don't know why. I don't know if there's some setting I messed up somewhere or what. I'll have to double check and see. But, this channel here has pretty much been, what do you call it? They've dropped the hammer on it. They've limited the distribution of our content, and all this stuff here. So the smaller channel they haven't got to yet. And again, that's youtube.com/Words for Christ. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that little bell and get all notifications. If you're on Facebook, make sure you hit see first and get all notifications for the Warriors for Christ pages. We have 2 running at the same time. One is 42,000, one is almost 21,000, I think, at this point. Make sure you get those notifications for both, because Facebook, again, what they do is they limit the distribution of content that they don't want you to see. Okay, but if you make sure you hit those settings and keep checking them, you'll get our stuff. If you want to go to our prayer wall here, it's on Christian Journal. It's christianjournal.net/prayer-wall. Right there, it's a public prayer wall. You can also make it anonymous if you'd like, but it's a public prayer wall there, so that this way you can send your prayer requests. People can pray with you and pray for you, whatever it is that you're looking for. You can post anonymously. You can post it just so it comes to us. You can post your name if you want. You can even set it to have an email sent to you when people pray for it. If you have a church or a group that you want to promote on there, let us know the information. We'll put that up there for you as well. We have a whole section just for groups, so people know where to meet and that kind of thing there. Again, it's all on christianjournal.net. Here's the prayer wall here. If you want to help support the Words for Christ Ministries, please, right here, wfcchurch.org/site/donate. Okay? Every single thing that comes in through this ministry goes out to support other areas of ministry. It goes out, it covers travel expenses, which is what we need more than anything else. We want to travel. We have people that want to preach all the time. Unfortunately, it's not free. And I know that sounds terrible. I know that sounds, but it's not. It's not. I wish it was, but it's not. So if again, I'm not gonna tell you, dude, don't take away from your local assemblies to give to us either. By the way, make sure you give to them first before anything else, because they're the ones who are taking care of the local flock. They're the ones taking care of the local community. They're the ones who you're sitting under and you're being fed by. So make sure whatever you give goes to them first, and anything after that is a supplement for Warriors for Christ. If you want us to come out there, let me know. You can email us at pastor@wfcchurch.org. Or again, if you have something in your area you want to come out there, let us know. We'll try to get funding for it to travel up there. Or, like I said, you can go on our website here, or you can go on the PayPal, paypal.me/The Christian Journal. Either which way, like I said, you guys see all the work that we do. We're out there, we travel, we preach. Any help would be appreciated, and we're thankful for it. And again, only if you're inclined to do so, only if you're cheerful to do so. Please don't give if it's begrudging. Please don't take away from your local assemblies to give those either. Make sure it's something you can give because you want to help see the ministry. You want to be part of what we're doing and help fund those things that we're doing as far as traveling goes and preaching outside these things and all that stuff there. Okay? Again, our prayer wall here, christianjournal.net/prayer-wall, wfcchurch.org/site/donate, and paypal.me/thechristianjournal. Socialcross.org we have as well. Social Cross is a Christian social media website. Okay? It's for Christians to share information, to preach to each other, to lift each other up, to pray for one another. Okay? It works. You can upload photos, upload videos. There's people all over the world on that site. It's Christian socialcross.org. Again, we also have apps in the. These are custom apps, by the way. They're not cookie cutter. It's not a WordPress thing. They're actually we actually designed and developed these apps with our developers and things like that. It's Social Cross in both Apple and Google. Apple and Google. Social Cross. We also have the companion messenger app for either one of those, also on both Android and Google. So download those apps, use the site, christianjournal.net, use that, share the news articles, share the newsy things that aggregated from other sections, other news things that we put together, and share them out there. This is all relevant to our faith. Let's wake this church up. Let's shake the church awake. Let's wake them up and get them out there. Thank you guys again. We love you guys. God bless you guys. And we will see you guys Sunday night, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here. Love you. God bless.
Yeah. The blood of Abel cries out from the ground. Let's go. She never heard a pastor preach on abortion, so if he didn't speak on it, had to be, it wasn't all that important. A quick trip to the doc and things would turn back to normal. One little operation and she could turn back to moral. She made the call, pulled up to the clinic. There were no Christians outside with signs of what they did in it. No pictures of little victims torn limb from limb. There were no sidewalk counselors, no hint of sin. She sat down on a chair, got up to leave, felt a tug on his sleeve. What do you need? Don't worry, young lady. It's just a clump of cells. It's not a person yet, honey. You won't go to hell. See, you need this done just to get your life back in order. A few pats on the back, a cold glass of water, and by the time it was over and she knew something was wrong, there was nothing she could do. He was gone. His blood cries out.
Through the pain of what we've done, we find our healing in the sun. 'Cause he hears the blood of Abel, blood of Abel. Let these wounds that try to break point us to amazing grace as we sing the song of Abel, song of Abel.
Her family is American. America personified since Roe v. Wade. 1/3 of the generations have died over the lie that the preborn human is not a person. This curse has touched every house in the U.S. for certain. She's dedicated her life from the moment they killed her son to the front lines of the movement. With every breath in her lungs, every heartbeat in her chest, she just considers grace the gift from God until she meets him face to face. His blood cries out through her life. She's an activist, 100% committed to the fight, to shake up the churches, take it straight to the culture, to obey the word and go wake up the pulpit. She typifies the rise to abolish the slaughter. Her story has touched many lives. She's a daughter of the king, demonstrating his lordship over all, that he's chosen from among the broken to call.
Through the pain of what we've done, we find our healing in the sun. 'Cause he hears the blood of Abel, blood of Abel. Let these wounds that try to break point us to amazing grace as we sing the song of Abel, song of Abel.
See, just like God used the Apostle Paul, who murdered Christians, to be the first missionary, he uses those most damaged by the abortion holocaust to end the murder of the unborn. This is the movement.
Through the pain of what we've done,